So it's been a while since I made a video on this channel, and the reason is I didn't really have much to say, but I do now, and I originally was going to make a rant about how I'm so sick of this narrative where Hillary Clinton is the spawn of Satan, and it doesn't matter how many logical policy positions I can bring up. It's just a bad thing. She's just evil, but because Trump is entertaining and triggers people, he's somehow a better candidate. And I guess I'm just sick of political discourse as it exists today. And the reason I disregard it is twofold. Number one, I hate the pseudo protesty people. Now, I should say I don't hate you for voting for third party. I think it's admirable, and I think if you're that passionate about something that you're willing to do that and vote for who you believe in, I respect that a whole hell of a lot. Me personally, I'm voting for Clinton despite the fact that I really dislike her as a person, because I just feel like her policies will help me out, and she's one of the two major parties, and the two major parties are the only ones who become president. And I know a lot of people have told me, one person in particular on Twitter that I haven't talked to in a while, but a cool guy. I'll put his channel here. He makes pretty cool videos, but he told me, because we were talking on Twitter, he was like, you know, you're supporting Clinton for the same reason that I supported John Kerry. And I feel like that's just a culmination of my support, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to get defensive when I hear just constant bashing, because it does get to me. Like, even as someone who would passively call themselves a supporter of Clinton, it just does kind of get annoying that she's just unrepentantly bashed. And look, this is politics. People have different points of view, and that's fine, but I guess I just get sick of the absence of policy and just the emotional response, you know, like, Clinton's evil and she's evil, and I haven't provided any evidence, or it's just my feelings, and somehow, even though Trump is arguably just as bad, and that's the key thing here, they're both fucking terrible. But one of them, if you're a liberal, her policies would benefit your life, which is the way I see it. I saw so many people, like, going for Bernie Sanders because they felt this emotional connection with the guy. I voted for him because I self-identify as someone who uses their fucking head and think, you know, hey, Bernie's policies identify with me. I'm very left libertarian. I'm very socialist leaning, social democrat. These policies would definitely make my life better. Bernie's the dream, you know. Bernie's the Cadillac, Clinton's the shitty Chevy Nova, and then Trump is the fucking golf cart. But so that's why it just drives me nuts when I see people who are like, well, at least Trump isn't an SJW and isn't a feminist, and, you know, she triggers people, and it just reminds me again of Shane, his video about people who are just so obsessed with just SJWdom or anti-SJWdom, where they just let their emotions cloud their entire just thinking process. And this is just what brings me to the election, because you got these right-wingers who are so obsessed with the SJWdom of everything, so they're willing to vote for Trump and throw away policies that they would probably, as moderates, agree with, like raising the minimum wage, a Clinton staple, climate change, a Clinton staple, and so on. You have so many people who are like armchair activists who talk about voting, but they don't vote in their primary elections during off seasons where it's not a presidential election. They don't vote for their senators. They don't know who their representative is. They don't vote for their mayor. They don't look at the city council. And then you look at them and they're like, hey, I really want to change the system, so I'm going to vote for Trump, or I'm going to vote for Clinton, or I'm going to vote for Jill Stein or Gary Johnson. And this is actually directed at the third party people. They're so into this third party politics. They're so into just talking about how great Jill Stein is, and then you look at the printouts for the party affiliations for Congress, and you know what would bring big change is if these people who purport to care about politics and about changing the system gave a shit in midterm elections, because there are Democrats in Congress and there are Republicans in Congress and there are Republicans in the Senate, and there are Democrats in the Senate, there are Democrats in governorships, and there are Democrats as mayors, and Republicans as mayors, and city councils, and state governments, and state senators, and state representatives. And guess what? You bring a Green Party candidate as your state senator, as your state representative, or maybe you're a libertarian and you go towards the Libertarian Party, and you're like, okay, I want a libertarian candidate as my mayor. And then you grow that party, and then that's change. But change doesn't come from giving a shit every 4 years and not caring. And that's why it just bothers me, and that's why I resent so many third-party voters. I mean, there are some people who legitimately don't like the candidates and are like, okay, well, this is my choice. And I'm not belittling them, but it's just like, I wish you guys cared enough to vote for third-party candidates that run during off-seasons and off elections. And I wish that political discourse was talking about, like, the omnibus bill, or the fucking farm subsidies that we have, or the food spending that we have, or just, with the sequester that happened years ago where the Republicans cut down a bunch of stuff for spending, or, the fiscal cliff. It's just this fucking meme politics, and people just vote for president and they turn their brains off, and it's just like, I don't know. I hate this election. That's why I haven't made content. And, I wanted this channel to be like a venting platform, and I was originally going to be like, I'm going to make awesome rants about politics. And I think I'm just going to do like stuff like this, where I just vent my frustrations with the world, because it's just like, I just can't, it's just getting to me, like, fuck. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video.